Welcome all to AP trainings. Everybody kindly wait for the couple of minutes for the other participants to join. Thank you. Okay, fine. So we can start the masterclass now. So hi, good evening to everyone. This is Ayyappan from AP Trainings. So today we are going to see about the free masterclass in the topic of Docker and Kubernetes. So in front of going to this masterclass, first I am going to introduce about the AP trainings. Okay, so the full form of AP training is all professional trainings. We are providing training all over the world in different fields like IT industry, electrical, electronics, as well as civil and mechanical field. Okay, so we have trained more than 10,000 students all over the world, especially in USA, European countries, and all over India. So there are three types of classes we are providing. The first one is this free master class, which is followed by the flash course, and the another one is a full course, in which the flash course is for 10 hours, the full course is for 30 plus hours. Okay. So today, in this masterclass, what are the things we are going to see? I will explain here in this PPT. So kindly see it. Okay. So here, first the participant introduction will be for 10 minutes. You people can introduce yourself in the chat box. So the trainer will come to know about which background you people are belongs to, and what is your expectation in this master class, and uh, and you can ask your questions also in the chat box. This is all about participant introduction. Then webinar content. So the trainer will exclusively give the webinar content. I mean the Docker and Kubernetes content for 45 minutes. So you people can ask your question in the chat box while the trainer is taking this masterclass. So after once we finish the masterclass, we will give exclusively 20 minutes for you people to ask your question to the trainer directly. Okay. Then students guide for the participants who join this masterclass. We will explain how we are providing training to our students in our training centers, how students have placed all over the world with the help of our training centers. Everything we will explain here in this student guide, and which is followed by the final thing, which is very important one, that is APT offer for the participants who are joining today. we will get summer offer up to 90%. So we will give all the details in this APTA offer. And finally, the queries and feedback for the participants who are joining this masterclass will get free certificate. The certificate feedback link will be provided at the end of this masterclass. The students should fill the certificate, I mean the feedback form to get the certificate. So I request each and everyone to attend the masterclass till the end and fill the feedback form. Then only you people will get the certificate. Okay. So now you people can introduce yourself in the chat box, like your name and your profession and your expectation in this masterclass. Then we can start this course. Yeah. Hi, Pichai Muthu. Please tell about your profession. Hi, I am able to see many people have joined 32%. Pichai Muthu is having 8+ years experience in development, working in CTS. Welcome, Pichai Muthu. So, like each and everyone, I kindly request you people to introduce Amit. Welcome, Amit, BCA student. Shubham Stevers. Welcome, Shubham. Professional freelancer, web developer. Gautaman, 4+ experience software engineer. Welcome, Gautaman. Nitin. Hi, Nitin. Welcome. Please, each and everyone, kindly introduce yourself. Hi, Suraj. Asit Sorank. I am a web designer. Welcome, Asit. Shardul BTech, second year student. Welcome, Shardul. How about others? Welcome, Aishwarya, Amit, Amol, Anisha, Annamalai, Ayya Kannan, Balaji, Ganesh, Madhushri, Mahalakshmi, Mohammed, Monica, Rajakrishna Nandini, CSE student from GCE Bodi. Welcome, Nandini. So, Praful, automation test engineer. Welcome, Praful. Aishwarya, student from CET. Welcome, Aishwarya. BCA final year student. SK. Welcome. Madhushri. Hi, Madhushri. So, IT consultant mechanical. Mohammed. Welcome, Mohammed. So we want this masterclass to be in a very interactive manner. So because this is exclusively for you people, so it is a free masterclass. So but the trainer is a well experienced trainer. I will explain the experience of the trainer now. So please each and everyone introduce yourself in the chat box. Software developer having zero point 0.6 experience. Welcome, Madhushri. Okay, guys. Now we can move to that master class. So now I am going to introduce about the trainer. So the trainer name is Mr. Krishna. He is having more than 7+ years of experience in the IT industry, especially in the Docker and Kubernetes field. He is having a vast experience. He is going to present you this Docker and Kubernetes masterclass exclusively for you people. So I request Krishna to take over this masterclass. Krishna?
Yeah, thank you, Ayappan.
Okay, Krishna, please take over the masterclass.
Hi, team. Good evening. Thanks for joining this session. Okay, I'll share my screen and let's start the session quickly. I hope my screen is visible to all of them. Is it visible or not? Guys, I'm audible.
Yes, Krishna, you are audible and your screen is visible.
Okay, thank you. Okay, team. Today we are going to discuss about Docker container technologies and container orchestration technologies. Today we are going to discuss only very high level overview. Not we are not going to any deep diving. So why we need this container technologies? Why can't we use our traditional mechanism? So let's discuss one by one. Myself, Krishna Kumar. So I have 7+ years of experience in IT. So I'm worked for various organizations. Uh, Currently, I'm working with IBM Cloud. So my expertise area is Linux server administration, VMware, Google Cloud, Docker, Kubernetes, so and so. This is what my career experience. So in today's webinar, we are going to discuss about app design and deployment strategy and high-level overview of containers, and we are going to learn the architecture of Kubernetes and Kubernetes objects. What are all the objects are there in Kubernetes? So and why we need Kubernetes? Those stuffs we are going to discuss, and finally we are going to run through a quick demo. Team, before starting this session right now itself, I'm telling you, if you have any questions, you can ask. You can ask in chat box. I will reply you at the end of the session, or if you have any on-demand queries, just you can ask immediately. Okay. Okay, let's begin from the basics. So why we need a container technologies? Why can't we use our traditional servers or traditional virtualization technologies like VMware, Citrix? So why we need a Docker? Why we need a Kubernetes? In past days, we are using physical servers to host our applications. So if you want to host any of the applications like Apache or anything, any applications, so you want a physical server. On top of that, you need any of the operating systems like Windows or Linux. On top of that, we supposed to install our application and we supposed to test our application. So once everything is fine, so the application is released for production. So this is how in typical mechanism we worked, but it has a lot of challenges and a lot of bottlenecks and a lot of disadvantages. So if you want to host every application, so that needs a dedicated physical server. In the sense, you have to spend more cost for buying the physical hardwares. Also, if once your infrastructure got enlarged, so you have to maintain those infrastructure. So you need the human resource. So for that you have to pay for the pay for the team members, and you have to pay for the data center. You have to pay for the server, all the stuffs. You have to pay for all the all your infrastructure, all your infrastructure things. But if you look at deep, on top of one physical server, if you have hosted one of the application, it will be it will use only the very less resources, the CPU, memory, and disk. It uses very less, but most of the resources are not utilized itself, but simply we are paying. So that's the reason we are moved into virtualization technologies. Like later only, this virtualization technologies and cloud technologies are come into picture. So in virtualization technologies, on top of one physical server, you can install any of your hypervisor. We call it as hypervisor. In hypervisor itself, two hypervisors are there. Two hypervisors are there. Type 1 hypervisor and type 2 hypervisor. So you can use any of the hypervisors based on your need and based on your requirement. So right now we are installed type 1 hypervisor. So type 1 hypervisor we are installed on top of the physical server. So on top of the hypervisor, once you install hypervisor, all your CPU, RAM, hard disk, everything will be virtualized. It's a single bundle. So after that, you can spin up the VMs. For example, if you have 64 CPU, you are going to spin up the VM with the help of four CPU. In that case, you can create one virtual machine with the help of one CPU. With the help of one CPU, rest you have 60 CPUs. So based on your need, you can spin up other virtual machines also. On top of the virtual machine, you can install your OS, and you can deploy your applications. In this way, you can we are able to utilize most of the resources, but still we need to install and still we need to manage individual operating system for all the applications. For example, if you have one web application, you have one database application. In that case, you have to the underlying hardware is common, but still we are using that operating system is not common. Operating system is individual for each and every application. So in that case, still it's not good. Also here, the developers are facing a problem. The developer may create a set of code, and they are after development they might be deployed and tested. It might be worked in their environment, but but in testing, the testing team will tell it is not working as expected because of due to in development they may be used Windows operating system. In testing environment, they might be used a Linux operating system. In Linux operating system itself, various distributions are there, like Red Hat, Ubuntu, SUSE Linux. So like that, various distributions are available. So so you have to so if you want to deploy any of the applications, you have to follow all the follow all the dependencies and all the OS requirements, all the stuffs you have to check before deploying any of the applications. So that's the reason this virtualization technology is also not suitable for our application development and deployment. So that the team is moved into container technologies. Also, the Docker did this case study. Docker did this case study. In physical world, if you want to create one web environment for 100 developer, you have to spend this much stuffs. You have for each developer, you want to allocate each physical server, and you have to maintain all those stuffs. So you have to spend for that. But resource wise, if you calculate, all the servers are in underutilization. This is the thing happened in physical world, but in virtual world, this is what happened. If you want to provision an environment for 100 developers, uh, five servers is enough. Five servers is enough. cost is also less, but disadvantage is each OS instance on VM running consumes the CPU cycles and adds overhead just to run a OS in order to have isolated app environments. In container world, for 100 developers, if you want to set up a web environment, so the one server is enough to achieve this thing. Why? Because on top of physical server, we are installing our operating system. It can be a Windows or Linux. On top of that, we are installing our container runtime. We have various container runtimes, so we will discuss about it later. So on top of container runtime, we can spin up our containers. So inside our containers, our applications are running. So this is how container world saves the money and saves the human efforts in today's IT infra. Okay, let's compare containerization and virtualization. Team, as of now, any questions you have? If I'm going very fast, you can tell. Okay, no questions. Okay, in this diagram, so just see the difference between containerization and virtualization. In virtualization, on top of bare metal, we are installing the operating system. On top of that, we can install any of our hypervisor. It can so based on our requirement, if it is a type 1, you can install type 1. If it is a type 2, you can install on top of operating system. So on top of that, you can spin up your VMs. But in containerization, on top of bare metal, the OS is installed. On top of that, Docker engine is installed. Docker engine is nothing but it's a container runtime. So various container runtimes are available like Docker, Mesos, Apache Mesos, Podman, Containerd, like that. So many runtimes are available. So you can install any of the Docker container runtimes, and on top of that, we can spin up our containers. C groups and namespaces. These are the two main things available in our Linux kernel. So it helps a lot for containerization. So those are advanced topics. So we will discuss that later. So just make a note. C groups and namespaces. These are available in Linux kernels. So this will help more for our containerization technologies. This is just a comparison between containers and VMs. The VMs are you might aware for booting up any of the virtual servers or physical servers. It takes a lot of time because while booting, it loads all the modules. After that, only the server is booting. But in container, the startup is it takes only few seconds. Just within 1 or 2 seconds, your container will spin up. Why? Because operating system is common for all the containers. You are not installing operating system for each and every container. Operating system and hardware both are common for containers. It's isolated. So while spinning up the containers, we are we are just installing the applications, like installing the applications. That's it. Also, compared to virtual machines, if you take containers, it uses only very less resources. Even if it is a CPU or memory, mainly CPU and memory. This is a main drawback in IT infrastructure. Compared to virtual VMs and containers using very less resources, because once the containers are, it's like on demand. So if you want to execute any of your task, so that time only it uses the compute resources. Once it is completed, the task is executed, it won't use any of your compute resources. Compute resources will be free for other workloads. These are all the benefits of containers. Like each and every containers have own process space and own network space and file system, root file system. So these are all the benefits of containers. Okay, let's see the ecosystems of containers. So this diagram explains about ecosystems of containers. So as a developer writes a Docker file. Docker file is nothing but inside the Docker file, it's a text file. So you don't want any programming knowledge to write a Docker file. It's just a text file. So inside the Docker file, set of instructions and commands will be there. So anyone can write the Docker file easily. Don't want any of the programming languages. So if you know the basics of Linux commands, so you can easily write your own Docker file. So for complex Docker files, if you want to write any of the complex Docker files, you want some additional knowledge in basics of programming also. So once you are writing a Docker file, so we are going to build images. All our Docker images are built or created from Docker file only. So once you write a Docker file, so you can build the image by using Docker commands. There is a command called Docker build. So with that, you can you can build your Docker images. Once it is built, you can able to list your images by using the Docker command docker image docker space image space ls. But the created Docker image is not stored in any of the centralized registry. So later what we have to do, we have to push your Docker image to any of the centralized repository. So that is called as Docker registry. Docker registry. By default, Docker is having Docker app. So we have various registries like Docker Hub is one of the registry, and Google Cloud is having Google Container Registry. So you can store your image to any of the centralized area. Okay, because why? Because in your team itself, for example, you are a developer, so you have written a code and you have created the image. Also you are tested by using Docker run, you are tested. So after that you have pushed your image to any of your centralized repository. So later all other teams wants to use that image, right? So in that case, we have to push that image to any of the centralized repository by using Docker push commands. Once it is pushed, you can able to view the images from Docker Hub or any of your private registry or public registry. So later from there, other team members can able to pull the images. For example, this is a in this diagram, staging environment and testing environment. So for example, just assume this is your testing team. So in that case, they can pull your image from their workstation. So for that, we have to perform some certain configuration. For example, if you are pushed your Docker image to any of the public repository, anyone can pull your images. But in case instead of public repository, if we are pushed your Docker image to any of the private registry, so in that case, we have to make some backend configurations. So that and all comes under in advanced topics. So we will discuss about briefly. So it takes a lot of time. So testing team can able to pull the images from the workstation, and they can able to run the Docker container from in their Docker host. I hope as of now it's clear. So developer creates a Docker file. So once Docker file is created, we are building the Docker file. We have to build the Docker image, okay, by using Docker build command, or else we can able to, in DevOps pipeline, we can use some build tools also. So once we created the image, so we have to run the image. So once your container is successfully up and running, so later you can push your image to local repo to any of your centralized repo. It can be Docker Hub, or it can be like any of your repo or Git repo or Google Container Registry is there. So like any of your public registry or private registry, based on your requirement, you have to push your Docker image. So once it is pushed, the other team members can able to access that image. If it is a public image, if it is a public repository, anyone can able to access the image. But if it is a private repository, so in that case we have to make some additional configurations to reach out your private repository. So this is how the container ecosystem is working. So in case if any additional changes had to be done in your existing code, so in that case the developer can able to append the additional changes in existing Docker file itself. They can push after modification, they can push the modified Docker image to Docker Hub. So with that, later we can able to deploy that new application with the help of DevOps pipeline easily. So these are all the main technologies available in Dockerfile container image. So all our containers are created from container image only. So Dockerfile is nothing but, first of all, we are creating container image, Docker image. So in that case, Docker image is created from where? It's created from Dockerfile. Container, it's nothing but containers are created from Docker image. Dockerfile container image is created from Dockerfile. Containers are created from container image, or you can see Docker image. The containers are nothing but, so in VMware, in VMware we are telling virtual machine, right? Virtual machine is the smallest unit in VMware. So like that, in container technologies, in Docker, container is the smallest unit. Registry is nothing but, registry is nothing but once you have created the image successfully, you have to push that image to any of your centralized registry. So it can be registry, it can be a Docker Hub, it can be a Google Container Registry, so or it can be your GitHub repository. Or registry is nothing but, so if you have some set of informations, you have to store somewhere in any of your centralized area, so that is called as registry. Docker client and Docker daemon. So Docker client and Docker daemon, for example, if you are using any of the Docker commands in your workstation, for example Docker ps or Docker run, so the Docker client only helps to communicate with Docker daemon. Docker daemon is also Docker daemon runs on the host systems used to interact directly with Docker daemon, but only through Docker clients. So the Docker client and Docker daemon, if you install Docker in any of your system, it comes the both are comes up together. Okay, as of now, any doubts in Docker? Okay, not received any of the responses. Thank you. Okay, let's jump into container orchestration. Why we need a container orchestration? Why can't we maintain our containers from the Docker?
Krishna, one student asked one query. Can you elaborate Docker daemon little bit?
Okay. Docker daemon is nothing but, for example, if for example, just assume you have your Linux server. In your Linux server, you are running various services are running, correct? Like SSH or HTTP. So all the services are ends up with, for example, SSHD or HTTPD. So like that, all the things are ended with D. So daemon is nothing. It's not running daemon. We can't able to interact the daemons directly. Okay, so that always daemons are running in backends, so it will take care all the system related processes. So for example, if it is a SSHD, so SSHD is nothing but is the SSH daemon. So in that case, so you can't directly interact with any of the daemon. So likewise, Docker D is a Docker daemon. So you can able to see if you verify the Docker service is running or not. So you can able to get from the Docker D. Docker D, it represents Docker daemon. It runs in backend. Okay, if you are running any of the Docker operations, like for example, you are executing the command Docker run engine Docker run -itd nginx. So in that case, it pulls the image from where? It pulls the image from registry. So later, once it is pulled, so later it's deployed on your Docker host, correct? So all the processes are taken care by whom? Docker daemon. So how we are communicating with the Docker daemon? By using Docker client. I hope it's clear. I will explain once again. Docker daemon and Docker client, it's comes up with Docker package only. Once you are installed Docker, so you can able to see both the things. Okay, Docker daemon is a backend process. It takes care all your Docker operations. Like if you are executing any of the commands, the command will reach to Docker daemon. For example, if you are running any command like Docker run or Docker ps or Docker images, so it's just a command, but it is processed by whom? It's processed by your Docker daemon. If Docker daemon service is not running, your entire containers and all the stuffs will be crashed. It's clear, or still you are confused with Docker daemon? The one thing you want to understood, you can't able to you can't able to communicate directly with any of the daemons, because daemons are backend process. Also it handles all the system related process. Okay, so we can't able to directly communicate with any of the daemons, so we need some clients or we need some tools to interact with if you want to interact with any of the daemons. So here, see my statement. Thanks. The user cannot interact directly with Docker daemon, but only through Docker clients. So this is not only applicable for Docker daemon. This is applicable for all the daemons. So for Docker daemon, you need a Docker client, but if it is any other daemon, so you need appropriate client or appropriate tool or appropriate process. Still, okay, they are replied. Thank you. Thanks for the reply. Okay, let's jump into container orchestration. Why we need as of now, I hope you guys get some basic understanding about containers. If already few people might be worked in container, then they might aware well. So if someone not aware about container, so I hope my quick this quick discussion will helps to understand some basic, not brief, not deeply, some basic understanding about container, why we need container and what is the use of that. So that one they might get. Okay, then why we need a container orchestration? So why can't we manage our containers from the Docker client itself? Because we have a Docker client, right? So Docker client can able to communicate with Docker daemon. So why can't we do that in that traditional way? For example, if it is if you are running any of the small scale business, so you are running only 10 containers. For example, you have some testing environment, so you have some 10 to 15 containers. In that case, you can manage all the tasks. You can handle those stuffs manually. You can assign any of that admin, so they can perform all the operations, and they can perform all the checks manually. But if just assume if it is an enterprise thing, so in enterprise, and thousands and millions of containers are running. So in that case, how we supposed to manage all those containers manually? So it's not possible, because there is a chance to happen a lot of human errors, and obviously we can't able to handle those uh, huge workload. So in that case, we need some help. For example, in our office premises. So if it is a small office, we have only one floor. In that case, all the switching lighting, fans, AC, all the controls can managed by any of the office admin. Okay, we don't need any of the centralized control. But if it is a huge office like huge MNC, so in that case, the MNC is having multiple floors and multiple meeting rooms and multiple cubicles and multiple cabins. So in that case, we need some centralized control, right? So to control all the lightings, all the air conditioners, and all the to perform all the housekeeping activities and to monitor all the areas. We are using that. We are using some centralized control, right? So likewise, in container technologies, we need some orchestration tool. So that is how like Kubernetes, Apache Mesos, and Docker Swarm, various container orchestration tools are available. Various orchestration container tools are available in market, but Kubernetes is highly demanded tool in current market. Why? Because compared to others, Kubernetes features and operations are user friendly, and you can perform the task easily, and Kubernetes performs the task efficiently compared to other tools. Why? Because if you Docker itself having a Docker Swarm to control all this container orchestration things. But if you want to set up a Docker Swarm, that is quite easy compared to setting up Kubernetes cluster. But operation wise and future wise, it's mm, it's not bit user friendly. So that is how Kubernetes comes top in current market. So these are the advantages and advantages of container orchestration tool. To ensure, if you want to ensure the availability of containers and the allocation of resources, scaling or moving or any of your containers based on workloads, provisioning, deprovisioning. Provisioning is nothing but deploying the pods. In Docker, we are using the term called container. In Kubernetes, we are using the term called pod. So there is a difference. So just remind this. In VMware, in virtualization, we are using the term called virtual machine, VM. In Docker, we are using the term called container. In Kubernetes, we are using the term called pod. All of them are having in future wise, in operation wise, in performance wise, all of them are having certain differences. So the benefits are listed for orchestration tools. So these are the benefits. Just go through, and if any doubts, let me know. So I would like to compare Kubernetes with VMware. So in VMware, we have a vCenter. I hope how many of them are worked in VMware? Any of them? Okay, no question. No, I think no one has worked in VMware. In VMware, if you have, for example, in enterprise environment, if you have hundreds of ESXi hosters, so in that case, you need some control, right? You need some centralized control. So that's the reason vCenter comes into picture. So like that, in container technologies also, Kubernetes comes into picture. With the help of Kubernetes, you can able to you can able to manage all your cluster nodes and all your pods which are hosted in that cluster. So the same way, by using vCenter, you can able to manage all your ESXi hosters and VMs in Kubernetes. In Kubernetes, you can able to manage all your cluster nodes and all your pods, all your running pods and deployment services, all the Kubernetes objects you can able to centralize. You can able to manage in centralized manner. Sorry. So this slides will help you to understand much better. Okay, this is a brief history about Kubernetes. In Kubernetes, we are called it as other term K8s. K8s is nothing but, so if you see how many letters between starting K and S, in between 8 letters will be there. You 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's the reason we are called it as K8s in other term, in short term. The reason behind this, though in between K first letter and last letter, 8 letters are there. It's an open source. Also, it's introduced by developed by Google in 2014. Recently, it's everything is managed by CNCF. It's right now it's not by Google. It's by CNCF Cloud Native Foundation. Also, Kubernetes supports all of the container runtimes. So there is no dependency. Kubernetes supports only the Docker. It won't support Containerd or Rocket or Podman. Kubernetes supports all the container runtime. So there is no dependencies. So you can install any of the container runtime. It can be a Docker, or it can be a Rocket, or it can be a Containerd, or it can be a Podman, or anything. Okay, let's see the Kubernetes architecture. So this is a Kubernetes architecture. Kubernetes architecture, it's a client-server architecture. So master node and worker node. In master node, we have all the control plane components. So control plane components is nothing but the main 4 components is Kube API server, etcd cluster, Kube controller manager, Kube scheduler. These are the 4 major components available in master node. So in master node, all the system pods will be system pods or system services will be deployed in master node. All your application pods, all your end client. For example, you have end client. Your end client is using web application or DB application. Any of that applications are deployed as a pod in any of your worker nodes. For example, this is a these are all the components available in master. So in worker nodes, we have container runtime, kubelet, and kube proxy. The kube API server, it will interact with all. For example, if you are executing the command kubectl get pods, so in that case, your Kubernetes client kubectl command so the client, if any incoming request comes from the client, it will receive that request and keep on kube scheduler will watches the kube API server. So if any new request comes, for example, if you are executing the command kubectl run nginx, so in that kubectl run nginx --- image nginx. So in that case, keep on kube scheduler watches the Kube API server. So if any new pod provisioning request comes, so in that case, the kube scheduler will check all the worker nodes. For example, that particular pod is suitable to deploy in which worker node. So based on the ranking, the kube scheduler responds back to kube API server. Kube API server will communicate to kubelet. So kubelet will deploy the pod in worker node by using kubelet will deploy the pod in worker node by using your container runtime. So once pod is deployed, the by using C advisor, there is one component called C advisor. With the help of C advisor, kubelet came to know the pod is deployed. So the kubelet will communicate back to kubeAPI server. kubeAPI server will stores the information in etcd cluster. The etcd cluster, it has all the information of your Kubernetes cluster. Like if you have 100 pods and 10 nodes and whatever objects you have in your Kubernetes cluster, those informations are stored in etcd cluster. So these are the two major main components, especially kubeAPI server and etcd cluster. In case if cluster is totally crashed, but if you have the backup of etcd cluster, in that case you can able to restore your entire cluster with the help of etcd cluster contents. In Kube Controller Manager, various controllers are available, like replication controller, node controller, various controllers are available. So it takes a lot of time to explain all the stuffs. So we can discuss briefly in upcoming sessions. So the two types of Kubernetes clusters are available. One is managed cluster and one is unmanaged cluster. Managed clusters are available in all the public clouds. So you can spin up your Kubernetes cluster in any of the public clouds like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, or IBM Cloud, or any of the public cloud. You can spin up your Kubernetes cluster in on-demand manner. So it takes only few seconds. So it will deploy your Kubernetes cluster. Another one is unmanaged cluster. Unmanaged cluster we have to set up manually on any. So we can set up unmanaged cluster on top of on-premises or on top of virtual machines or on top of any of your. You can take. You can take any of the VMs from any of the public cloud, so you can set up the cluster likewise also. So the two ways to set up unmanaged cluster is, one is we can for testing purpose we can use kubeadm tool and we can set up the unmanaged cluster easily. The hard way is so we have to download the binaries from kubernetes.io page for all the services. We have four main components, right? Kube API, Kube Controller Manager, etcd, and Kube Scheduler. All the binaries we have to download, and kubelet, we have one component called kubelet. So all the binaries we have to download from this page. So we have to set up all the things manually. So the two ways are available. So one is unmanaged cluster and another one is managed cluster. Managed cluster is everything taken care by. For example, you don't want to worry about creating the cluster. The cluster creation is taken care by public cloud. Also the maintaining the cluster, so that is also the taken care by public cloud. So it's very easy, the managed Kubernetes cluster. Unmanaged cluster, so if you want to understand all the process and what's happening in backend, so definitely at least once you have to set up unmanaged clusters, and you have to later only you get to know what are all the things are happening in backend, how to set up all the stuffs and how it works. So definitely we have to set up unmanaged cluster and we need to check. So these are the two ways to set up. So if you are a beginner, you can use kubeadm tool. You can set up your cluster. So once you are get some hands on, so later you can go with hard way. So once you have set up the cluster, so later we have to deploy our objects in Kubernetes cluster. So we have two options. One is imperative method and another one is declarative method. Imperative method is nothing but by executing the commands. For example, the kubectl run nginx -image nginx. So in that case, if you are running command, you are deploying any of the objects in Kubernetes cluster, in the sense it's an imperative method, or by using YAML file. first of all, you are creating one YAML file. Later, with the help of YAML file, you are creating any of the objects in Kubernetes cluster in the sense that is declarative method. So the most in production case, always you have to use declarative method, but in your exam standpoint, you can use imperative method. So imperative method, you can save the time while you can save the time in exams, in Kubernetes certification exams. But in declarative method, it takes some time. But for example, you have to create that YAML file, right? So it takes some time. But this is the declarative method is the best approach in production environment. Okay. Okay. Any questions? Okay, let's begin the live demo. I will set up a Kubernetes cluster in Google Cloud. So on top of that, we will deploy one pod or deployment any of the Kubernetes objects. So this is my Google Cloud account. So here already I have two clusters. So here I'll come from the beginning. So this is how your Google, if you are used Google Cloud earlier, so you might have, so or else just listen. So this is how your homepage will be available in Google Cloud Console. So here you have to go Kubernetes engine. So if you want to set up any of the clusters, so create cluster option is available. Even if you don't have Google Cloud account, you can try your free tier. You can learn from your free tier account. So you can create free tier account in within 10 minutes. So you can create later your free tier account. You can try this later. So while creating cluster, you can see these two options: standard cluster and autopilot cluster. These are all the two types of clusters available in Google Cloud. So this will vary each and every public cloud. Okay. So the autopilot cluster, it's based. You have to pay per pod. Okay. In standard cluster, you have to pay per node. For example, if you have 3 worker nodes, in the sense you have to pay for 3 worker node. If it is an autopilot cluster node, you don't want to worry about worker nodes. The worker nodes will be taken care by Google. So you have to pay only for the pod. So right now I'm going to set up a standard cluster only configure. So right now I'm explaining the way to create managed cluster in Google Cloud. So test cluster. The location type. So you can choose your location. So I'm using Asia Pacific. The control plane version. So here also you have the two options: static version and release channel. So this and all, it's advanced topic. So right now, if I'm explaining also, the few peoples might be confused. So I'm not going to explain this. So by default, it's a release channel. So I'm go with that. Oh my God, it's insufficient. I will use some other region instead of Asia Pacific. So the request is submitted, it starts creating, so we can see the progress here. So my first request was failed due to quota issue. Already I have few VMs on that particular region, so I'm created in another region, North America. So already I have 2 clusters, so it takes some time to create. So after that we will see how to deploy the pod on cluster. Pod is nothing but it's a, in Docker we are call it as a container, right? So like that we are calling a term called pod in Kubernetes. So in a single pod you can run multiple containers. In single pod you can run single container also. If you want multiple containers you can use, it's possible, but preferred thing, the Kubernetes is preferred only in one container, one pod. So in Kubernetes, where container is placed inside the pod. Okay, it's not placed directly as a container. If you are deploying any of the applications in Kubernetes, first of all, the pod is deployed. Inside the pod, your container is deployed. Okay, but you don't want to run any of the command like Docker run nginx in Kubernetes. So only command you have to run Docker create. I will show you. Pod is nothing but it's the smallest unit in Kubernetes. So it's an instance. For example, if it is a Docker container, you are call it as a container, right? For your if you are deployed any of the application, but in Kubernetes we are call it as a pod. Inside the pod only your container is available. If it is required, you can deploy 2 containers in a same pod. So right now I'm connecting with my existing Kubernetes cluster. So it's connected. So let's see kubectl get pods. There is no existing pods are available. So I'm executing the command kubectl get nodes. So already I have 3 nodes in my cluster. So this is just one thing you have to know here. One thing you want to get to know, all the 3 nodes are worker nodes. There is no master node here. All the 3 nodes are worker nodes. Because this is a managed Kubernetes cluster. So if it is a managed Kubernetes cluster, your master node will be taken care by your cloud provider, not by you. So all 3 nodes are, it's a worker nodes. So right now I'm going to deploy the pod by kubectl run. The pod name is nginx -- image nginx. So the pod is created. Earlier when I'm executing the command kubectl get pods, so you get the message no resource found in default namespace. Right now I'm executing the same command kubectl get pods. So we will get this output. Then the pod name is nginx. This ready. See, this one indicates the ready 1/1, right? So inside the pod you have only one container. The first one represents the total number of running container in a pod. Okay, the second 1/1, the total number of running container in pod / total number of container in a pod. Okay, the status is running, pod status is running. The restarts, it's 0. When it's created, 30 seconds ago, it's created. Just I said the pod is the startup is very quicker. So just see while executing the command. So it takes only 10 seconds to create one pod. Lesser than 10 seconds only it will take. So this is how we have to create a pod. So you have created a pod. So instead of, this is a imperative approach. So I said two approach. One is called declarative and one is called imperative. So right now I'm created a pod with the help of command, right? kubectl run nginx -- image nginx. So this is the imperative method. So if you want to do this in C, if you want to create a pod in declarative way, so you have to prepare a YAML file. So I will show that example also. kubectl run nginx -image nginx -o YAML. It's a typo error. So you can create the YAML files easily by using this dry run command. Dry run equal to client. See, in imperative way itself, by right now the object is not created, but YAML file is created. Why? Because I'm using the option -- dry run. Dry run in the sense the object will not be created in backend. Right now, if I'm executing the kubectl get pods, still it will be one only. There will be only one pod. New pod will be not created. So see, there is only one pod. The new pod is not created. With the help of this YAML file, you can create another pod in declarative way. I just copied. So vim nginx.yaml. So the pod name I'm just for our reference. Also, I can't. The pod name I'm mentioning nginx 001. I'm redirecting that output to nginx.yaml here itself. This is the output I'm redirected from the imperative command. So right now in declarative approach, I'm going to create one pod. kubectl create -f. So you have to give that file name nginx.yaml. What it says, already when creating nginx, the pod nginx already it exists. Okay, so you have to rename the pod name. Oh, sorry. Here I did the mistake. What I did, the image name I mentioned nginx 001. That is, so definitely it will give error. So the pod name I have to mention like this. So right now I am executing that same command. kubectl create -f for -f nginx.yaml file name. The pod nginx 1001 is created. You can get to know by kubectl get pods. See, both the pods are running. Nginx I'm created by using commands. That is the imperative way. The nginx 001 I'm created with the help of YAML file. So that is a declarative way. Declarative method is the always preferred method in production environment. But in case of exam point of view, you can use this imperative commands. So create the objects in Kubernetes cluster. Okay, if any questions you can ask. Any questions or any suggestions? You can drop all your questions and suggestions.
Students, can you, if you have any question in the sense, either you can ask in the chat box or you can raise your hand. We will unmute you and you can ask your queries. So Krishna is a professional corporate working person. So it's very hard to get advice from a person like Krishna. So you people can raise your hands if you have any queries related to this Docker and Kubernetes, or else you can put your doubt in the chat box. Krishna, one of the student asked.
Yeah, let me check. Docker Swarm. Yeah, Docker Swarm is also one of the container orchestration tool only, but compared to Kubernetes, futures wise and user friendly. If you want to learn Docker Swarm, first of all, we supposed to learn Docker end to end. Later also, compared to Kubernetes, it's not user friendly. Also, and other futures also is less compared to Kubernetes. So that's the reason mainly the people's are. I'm not telling Docker Swarm is not used anywhere. Still, it is used in some places, but compared to Kubernetes, the growth is also less, and the need is also less for Docker Swarm. Docker Swarm is also one of the container orchestration tool.
And another student asked, like, which Kubernetes cluster is best? In which companies? Which one is preferable?
Okay, there is Kubernetes is best. So we can't differentiate. Google Cloud Kubernetes cluster is best. AWS Cloud Kubernetes cluster is best. I can't tell like that. Based on our requirement and based on our need, because each of them are having own requirements, right? So based on your project requirements or based on your need, so you have to set up the cluster. So there is no Kubernetes is compared to other orchestration tools. So in container orchestration tools, the Kubernetes is better, so that I can tell. But if you ask the question, which Kubernetes cluster is good in the sense, in case if you have a unmanaged Kubernetes cluster and managed Kubernetes cluster, so managed Kubernetes cluster is better. Why? Because you don't want to worry about your nodes, worker nodes or master nodes. Yeah, entirely your infrastructure is taken care by your cloud provider. So you have to take care only your applications. I mean your pods, services, demonstrates, deployments, all the Kubernetes objects you have to take care, but you don't want to worry about the upgrades, control plane component upgrades, and your nodes. In unmanaged clusters, that you have to set up manually. In that is also two ways are available. One is Kubedium. Kubedium is for that will be helpful for practice and testing purpose. It won't be suitable for production because there is some limitations. In behind there are some limitations of that. But in hard way, you can set up the cluster. You can set up your own cluster in on-premises or in cloud or in your virtual machines. That is also possible, but that is a hard way. It's a bit difficult. So you want to learn some basics of Kubernetes. So once you get some hands-on, so you can set up the Kubernetes cluster in hard way also. So if your question is which public public cloud Kubernetes cluster is better in the sense, I don't have answer because that is based on your requirement. On-premises, on cloud means on-premises is nothing but on-premises. You have your own data center, you have your own hardware. That is on-premises. Cloud in the sense it can be any public cloud. Microsoft, it can be a Microsoft Azure, or it can be a AWS, or it can be a Google Cloud, or it can be IBM Cloud. So those hardwares you can able to manage directly, right? It is managed by someone else. The servers are sitting in somewhere. It can be in London, or it can be in America, or it can be in Africa, somewhere. So you don't have the accessibility to reach the data center and to maintain the hardware. Even you don't know where exactly your server is resided. It is in which rack, it is in which data center, you don't know. Okay, if it is on premises, it's the data center, hardware, everything managed by you. Or by your organization. Okay, is it clear or still it's confused? Okay.
Students, kindly wait. Finally, we will set the feedback for me. So thank you very much, Krishna. I hope so all the queries are clear now for the students. So thank you very much. Verinder told still it is confused.
Sorry?
So Verinder told like he is still confused regarding the on-premises.
On-premises. On-premises in the sense, for example, you have one workstation laptop or workstation desktop, right? That is handled by you. So like that, handled and managed by entirely you, right? It's not managed by anyone else. So you are the guy managing your desktop. So you know what application is there, what is the hardware spec, and other people can't able to access your infrastructure. I mean, for example, if you have your own personal laptop, in the sense, the other people can't able to access their own laptop, right? So if you give access to other users, then only they can able to access. So if you restrict all the access, all other user access, so in that case they can't able to access your laptop, or your on top of, if you are posted any of the applications. So if you are restricted all the access, so it's fully private, so you have some privacy so in your laptop, right? So likewise, it's a on-premises in the sense, the organization will set up own data center. In that data center, they will host lot of physical servers. So on top of the physical servers, they will install hypervisor, or they will install operating system. It can be a Windows or Linux. So based on our need, based on their need, so they will install the operating system, and they will host the applications on premises, which means it's managed by you or your organization. You have some certain security controls and certain privacy, but if it is a cloud, you are hosting your applications somewhere else. I mean, even you don't know, me don't know, you know it is in which zone, but in that zone, it where data center is exactly located, it is in first cross or it is in second cross. If you, for example, the data center is in Chennai, but the zone is Chennai, but in zone, the data center where it is exactly, it is in first cross or it is in 10th cross, you doesn't know. In 10th cross itself, two different data center is there, in the sense you don't know which the server is available in which data center. In that, if you know data center also, in data center multiple servers are available. Your workloads are hosted in which server, how you get to know? You don't have the access, everything is taken care by someone else, that is cloud. So whatever you need, you take from that and you pay for that. That's it. It's like a call taxi, that's it. So you don't have a, if you have a own cab, that is on premises. If you are booked any of the private cabs by using any of the apps like Ola or Uber, so in that case, that is you are paying for your trip. You are getting that, right? So like, that is the difference between on premises and cloud. On premises, it's your own cab. Cloud means it's a private cab. That's it. It's a simple example, simple difference between on premises and cloud.
Thank you very much, Krishna. So,
Okay.
so thank you very much, Krishna, for this wonderful masterclass. So now, students, we can move to the next session. Thanks, Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks all. Thanks for joining this session. In case if you have any of the suggestions, please post the suggestions and feedback. That will be helpful, because in case if my slang is not understandable, if I'm going very fast, so just let me know your feedback. That will be very helpful. Thanks. Once again, thanks for joining this session in Sunday. Thanks, Ayappa. Thanks for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Krishna. So participants, please wait. So now we can move to the next session. 1 second. So now I am going to present one of our students' feedback video. So kindly watch it. This is a student from the US.
Hi all. I'm Sivagami from US. I'm a student. I have learned Blue Prism course from AP trainings to restart my career. They trained us very well and the trainer is excellent. After the course completion, I felt like 100% worth for that money I paid. I recommend you to choose AP trainings for your better future. Thank you very much. Bye.
So this is one of our student feedback. Same like we have more students all over the world. So next we can move to our APT students guide. So I am going to present the APT students guide. So what is the purpose of this APT student guide is, here we are going to explain you people how we are teaching to our students in our training center. The thing we are following is APT 5 forces to teach our students. The first one is simple learning methodology. The next one is students recall. Then creative explanation, fingertip materials, and additional bonuses. So these are the 5 things we are following in our training center. Okay. So if you take the simple learning methodology, once you joined our training, so every day you will have a class for around 75 minutes. And we have divided the 75 minutes into 6 sessions. The first session will be about 10 minutes. Here you people can ask the trainer the yesterday class if you are having any queries or doubts. Okay, the trainer will clear whatever queries you are having, which is followed by the session 2. Here the trainer will take the today's set of topics for 20 minutes. In the session 3, you people have to practice whatever the trainer took in this session 2 in front of you. So what is the advantage of this is, you people can clear your queries immediately. So no need to wait for another day. So next one is session 4. It is about 15 minutes. Here again the trainer will take the next set of topics, which is followed by session 5, which is about 10 minutes. Again you have to practice in front of the trainer. The final session is about 5 minutes. Here you people have to recall whatever you have learned in all these sessions. So totally it will be about 75 minutes. So all our teaching methodology is structured with the help of this learning pyramid. For example, when you listen one lecture, you will only get 5% of that lecture. So, but when you are practically doing something, you will get about 75%. When you are teaching some other person, you will get 90%. So all our teaching methodology will be depend upon this learning methodology. You people can easily understand if you join our course. So next one is creative expectation. So here you see nowadays everything is available in the online. People will have a question like everything is available in the online. Why I have to pay and study? Very good question. But the thing is everything is available in the online in an unstructured way. If you go and study each and everything, it will take years for you to complete this Docker and Kubernetes course. So here what is the advantage is, here the trainer will only give the structured data that is required to get a job in the job market. Then e-coaching, some of the videos also people will explain in the YouTube or some other industrial videos also explain about these topics. But what is the disadvantage is you can't ask your question to that person. But here in our training center, you can immediately ask your question. All our classes are live courses. You will also get the videos. Okay. Then collaborative learning. So if you go to any big training center, like 40 to 50 people will be available. So you can't ask the questions to the trainer or any people available there. But here it is not like that. So mostly 1 or 2 students will be in one batch. So it will be more informative for your people. You can ask your question to the trainer at any time. This is the advantage of this virtual classroom. Okay. Then every day the trainer will explain each and everything in a OneNotes or Notepad or anything like this. So what is the advantage is you can easily revise each and everything. The next one is mind map. So this is another methodology we are teaching to our students. Next, class notes we are providing. Diagrammatic flow explanation. We are believe in diagrammatic explanation because each diagram is equal to 100 words. So you people will easily understand each and everything the trainer is explaining to you people. So all materials we are providing to you people with the help of the drive. We are having a separate drive. So there each and every day the trainer will upload the recorded videos. So you people can download from them and you can learn every day. So the class will be live class. The live class you are attending will be recorded. So and it will be shared to you with the help of these drives. Okay. All software and full class notes will be provided to you people. So apart from this, persons who are joining the full course will get free interview session, resume preparation help, lifelong community support. We are having a separate community. Lifelong you will get community support, professional certification guidance, job guidance, 100% job guidance, job links we are providing, then LinkedIn recommendation. So these are the things we are providing to our people. So this is all about this APT student guide. Okay, guys, if you have any question on this thing, you can ask now, or else we can move to the next thing. Yeah, so okay, so I hope you people are not having any queries. So now I am going to present the some of our students feedback here. So we, as we already explained, we have students all over the world. Some of our students feedback we are like to present here. This is one of the student from US named Parveen. So after the course completion, she felt like 100% worth for the money she paid. Then Surya, so this is a corporate professional from Chennai. So after the course completion, he immediately got the job and he is earning more than 5 lakh per annum. This is Annie's another student. She's a non-IT experienced student. once the course completion, she felt like we are providing her mock interview, and also she cleared the certification, professional certification with more than 90% marks. Then another student, Elias, is a non-IT student. He also cleared the SAP course and waiting for the job. The same like we are having thousands of students all over the world who got job all over the world in various companies. Okay. So now we are next going to present the final thing, that is APT offer. So can we go to the APT offer? Can you please reply yes in the chat box? Can you please reply yes in the chat box? Yeah, so I got reply from many people. Thank you very much. So now we are going to present the APT offer. Once the APT offer finished, we will share the feedback link. So kindly each and everyone fill the feedback link to get the certificate. So now I am going to present the APT offer. Okay. So this offer is only for the participants who join this masterclass. Okay. Yes. So, so there are two types of course we are providing. One is the full course and the another one is the flash course. Okay, the full course will be about 35 to 40 hours, and the flash course will be about just 10 hours. So flash course will only explain the basic of this course, in which the full course will explain end to end of this course. Okay, so each and every, the full course will be about 30 classes, like in 30 days, 30 to 45 days you can learn this full course. Okay, the flash course is a 2-day workshop. The next week, Saturday and Sunday, will be available for 10 hours each day, 5 hours, totally 10 hours it will be available. Okay, so students, can you please tell what will be the market price to learn this Docker and Kubernetes full course as well as the flash course? Can you please reply in the chat box? It is the most demand technology in the market now. What will be the market price to learn this Docker and Kubernetes? Can you please reply the cost in the chat box? Guys, please be interactive. Please tell the cost whatever striking in your mind. So it will be helpful for us to understand your uh, I mean, mind thought to join this course. So Abhinaya replied like 20,000. Very good. How about others? Right, 38 students are still available. Please reply. Just reply whatever amount striking in your mind. Nitin replied 15,000. Very good, Nitin. Wow, I am getting more replies. Please, each and everyone reply. So then only it will be more interactive. Kindly reply, guys. Anisha, Ankita, Annamalai, Aravind. So what is your expectation to learn this? Like anything you can tell. Okay, fine. So now I am going to reveal the market price to learn the whole Docker and Kubernetes. It is the most demand course in the current market. If you finish this course and go to IT industry, surely you will get a job. That much demand it is having. Okay, very less number of professionals only know this course. It is most demand. So if you go to the market all over India and all over world, the minimum price to learn this full course is 35,000 to 40,000. Flash course will be about 8,000 to 10,000. Okay. So most of the training centers are not providing this flash course. For the students' goodness, we are providing this flash course. The full course will be about more than 35 to 40,000. Guys, do you like this offer? Can you please reply yes if you like this offer? I hope most of the people will not like this offer. We also not like this offer. So we are not providing the full course in 35 to 40,000, flash course in 8 to 10,000. In our training center, usually to learn the full Docker and Kubernetes, the usual price will be 25,000. The flash course will be in 6,000. Guys, do you like this offer? Can you please reply yes in the chat box if you like? Yes. I got reply from many people like yes. How about others? Some people are still telling like no. How about others? Please reply whether you like this offer. Yeah, more students are replying now. How about others? Pandi, Selvi, Praful, Raja Krishna, Rajam, Sedu. Just we want a reply from you people. Kindly reply in the chat box. Yeah, so some students told yes, and some students told no. 50-50 we are getting. Yeah, so getting reply from most of the peoples now. Thank you very much for your reply. Yeah, okay, got it. So, yeah, so some of the students still telling no. So we are not providing in this offer also. So we are providing the another offer that will not be 25,000 or 6,000. Your crazy offer, this crazy offer is for 50% off from the original price, I mean the market price, just 18,000 to learn this full course, and the flash course is on 80% off, just 1,500 rupees. Guys, do you like this offer? Can you please reply yes in the chat box if you like this offer? Guys, you see the market price, if you go to any training center all over India, the full course will be minimum more than 35,000, but we are just providing in 18,000 to learn this full course, and this offer is only for 1 week. That is very important thing. Yeah, I got more reply. So Marinder told yes for flash course. How about others? Please reply, guys. This offer is only for 1 week. 39 students are still available. Kindly reply in the chat box. How about this? Or do you like another offer? If you want another offer, can you please reply like offer, OFFER? Abhinaya Reddy replied like it's a good for flash course. If you want another offer, kindly reply OFFER offer in the chat box. Abhinaya Reddy replied offer. How about others? Yeah, I am getting more replies now. Please reply. Yeah, Rajan, Sai, Sedu, fantastic. Okay, fine. So, because of the interest of you people, I am seeing like from starting to end, still these 40 people are attending this masterclass even in the Sunday. Even the IPL match is going, still you people are interested to join this course. We really appreciate that. And in order to appreciate you people, we are giving another fantastic offer in which this is the final offer. No more offer after this, and this offer is only for 15 minutes discount. This offer is only for 15 minutes, in which the full course is on 60% off, just 14,000 to learn this full Docker and Kubernetes, and the flash course is on just 999 rupees to learn this full flash course, and this offer is only for 15 minutes. Guys, do you like this offer? Can you please reply BUY buy in the chat box if you like this offer? Guys, just understand we are giving the whole course. I mean, Docker and Kubernetes for just 14,000. The market price is around 40,000. We are just providing for 14,000. The flash course is just 1,000 rupees. Can you please reply BUI buy in the chat box if you reply, if you like this offer? I want reply from each and everyone. Please reply yes or buy in the chat box if you like this offer. Yeah, I am getting more reply. Abhinay, how about Varinder? How about others? Oh, fantastic. So if you join this full course, you are also having many special bonus. This special bonus is only for the people who are joining the full course. Free interview session, resume preparation help, professional certification guidance, lifelong community support is for both full and flash course. You people will can get the lifelong community support. Then other than this, clear queries at any time with the trainer. So training at your preferred time, recorded videos, job links. So this is a salary prediction, guys. So if you are a fresher, if you go to an IT industry, you will only get a salary of 2.5 lakhs to 3.5. But when you know a course like Docker and Kubernetes, surely you will get a salary of 5 lakhs. Same like when you are a professional who is having a salary of 5 lakhs, if you are doing one job, you will only get 30% hike. That is about 6 to 7.8 lakhs. But when you learn this Docker and Kubernetes, surely you will get the minimum salary of 9.6 lakhs to 12 lakhs. Depends upon how you are learning. Okay. So one small step can change your life, and the step is in your hands. Once again, I am telling the full course is on just 14,000, and flash course is on just 1,000 rupees. Students are asking how to make the payment. I am going to share the payment link as well as the PPT for payment. So you can make the payment using this number. Either you can use Paytm, PhonePe, or Google Pay. This offer is only for 15 minutes. At 8 p.m. sharply, we will close this offer. So please make use of this offer. And we are also sharing the payment link in our chat box. And as well as in the WhatsApp also, we are sharing the payment link. So please make use of it. Full course is on just 14,000, and the flash course is on just 1,000 rupees. Okay, so now I am going to share the feedback link. So feedback link will only be shared in the Zoom chat. So I already shared it. Please fill the feedback link to get the certificate. Okay. So guys, please make use of this offer. The offer will end by 8 p.m. today. Full course is on 14,000, and flash course is on just 1,000 rupees. If you come tomorrow, the full course will be on 18,000. Flash course will be 1,500 rupees. Please make use of it. 9488775698. Yeah, so the full course and flash course content we are sharing in our WhatsApp. We will share it. Kindly check it. So please make the payment. What if you are having any queries, you can call us anytime. So, so this is Sunday. You people have attended this masterclass. Thank you very much for joining this.